right, London, whenever you're ready.
So, resurrecting from the brink, navigating through the world of de-extinction. So, this topic has been something I've been fascinated in since like middle school. Every time I got the chance to write a research paper, I always chose de-extinction because I just my love for animals, and then one day seeing an extinct animal, that just blows my mind that we could one day see a woolly mammoth walking again. So, what is de-extinction? It's the process of generating an organism that resembles and is genetically similar to an extinct species by resurrecting the species' lost genealogy of core genes. Scientists are engineering natural resistance and enhancing adaptability that will allow species to thrive in today's climate changed environment. And there are three biotechnology species restoration methods to helping to solve to bring the extinction possible. And the first one is backbreeding. It is where they select breeds based on traits or genealogy they share with an extinct species to breed them. And then the second one, which is gene editing, what Grace touched on a lot, and but mine's with animals. So it's the complete set of genetic material present in a cell or organism. Editing is scientists cutting the DNA at a specific spot. They sequence the DNA as many times over to get as much of the genomes as possible, but you can only get so much from dry old DNA. So then they take the genomes and then they take the genomes of a similar or relative species as a reference to piece together as much as possible of the vanished genomes. Cloning is a form of and then cloning, number three, is a form of reproduction, which is when a genetic copy of an animal is produced by replacing the nucleus of an unfertilized egg cell with the nucleus of a body cell from the animal to form an embryo. And okay, so with the gene editing and talked about the old DNA. So sadly, when you think of extinct animals, you think of dinosaurs, right? Sadly, we cannot one day have dinosaurs. So no Jurassic Park because their DNA is already too dried up for us to be able to sequence. So you need a certain percentage of the DNA for it to actually be what the animal was. And then benefits of de-extinction. This it adapts to existing ecosystems to radical modern environmental changes as much such as global warming and possibly reverse those changes. And so it corrects past harm, beneficial to the ecosystem, and then adapting to existing ecosystems. The scientists at Colossal Laboratories, which is dedicated to de-extinction research, propose that the return of a woolly mammoth, for example, will have significant benefits for fighting climate change. Climate change refers to the long-term shifts in temperatures and weather patterns. Their idea of the benefits of the woolly mammoth revival is that they will aggravate the icy surface of the tundra with their heavy bodies, stomping out thick, low oxygen trees and uncovering healthy carbon trapped gases. From these actions, the tundra could one day be restored to which in succeeding protects the climate and balance greenhouse gases. So the tundra could one day be restored to its nice grassy what it once was. Certain revived animals can help save our planet too. And scientists with de-extinction has brought us wait, the science with de-extinction can bring us can help us save many endangered species in the future. We could save 9,251 species from dying out with the technology that de-extinction has developed. We may not be able to bring back all 902 extinct species, but bringing back key species and placing them into their original habitats is beneficial to the ecosystem. And then the problems with the extinction, compromising biodiversity, and a lot of people believe it's ethically wrong. So all the problems of de-extinction that I researched led back to compromising biodiversity, which all the focus on de-extinction could compromise the biodiversity by diverting resources from preserving ecosystems and preventing newer extinctions. But that's not what's going to happen. That's in all these articles. I couldn't find any newer 2024, 2023. They're all 2014, 2016. So no one's really found any new problems. And then ethically wrong by creating and resurrecting species. Some people believe it's playing God. And my opinion, which I'll get to in the next one later on, I don't believe so. Because God, I'll get to that. But it's just, no. And then my biblical integration, Job 12, 7 through 10. But ask the animals, and they will teach you, or the birds in the sky, and they will tell you, or speak to the earth, and it will teach you, or let the fish in the sea inform you. Which of all these does not know that the hand of the Lord has done this? In this hand is the life of every creature, and the breath of all mankind. And then Genesis 1, 20 through 25. And God said, let the waters swarm with swarms of living creatures, and let the birds fly above the earth, across the expanse of the heavens. So God created the great sea creatures and every living creature that moves, with which the waters swarm, according to their kinds, and every winged bird according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. And God blessed them, saying, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let birds multiply on the earth. And there was evening and there was morning, the fifth day. And God said, let the earth bring forth living creatures according to their kinds, livestock and creeping things, and beasts of the earth according to their kinds. And it was so. And God made the beasts of the earth according to their kind, the livestock according to their kind, and everything that creeps on the ground according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. So these passages go along with each other and is telling us about God making his creatures of the sea, the sky, and the earth. God made these creatures for a purpose that they have on earth. As he wanted us to be fruitful and multiply, he wishes the same for his creatures as well. Many animals multiply and reproduce differently, some slow, some fast. Many of our big beasts of beauty don't get a chance to multiply because we humans, we kill them, we separate them, we use them for selfish needs and wants. It is our fault that these species are extinct. It is our fault that these species extinction happened, and now it's our responsibility to fix it. With de-extinction, science, and technology, we can right the wrong we have done, and we can help protect these animals from our sins, like how God protects us. So that was my thoughts on it, thinking God made these creatures for a purpose, and us with our sin, we killed them. We killed them, we used their fur, we poached them just to get one piece of a trunk and just leave the rest there just to dry up and die. And these animals could, sorry, this just makes me sad. And we just need to be better. And I think that it's not playing God, it's fixing our mistakes that God would want us to fix. Because we're not doing it for selfish reasons, we're not torturing, we're trying to figure out how we can right our wrong and help these animals bring back once what they had on this earth. And one day we could see these beautiful creatures walking the earth once again. and then it amazes me. What I want the audience to gain from this is the knowledge of de-extinction and it being possible. And the reason it is us as humans' responsibility for making it come to fruition. And then some, no, actually, any questions?
Yeah, two. First off, has there been any animals that have been de-extinct?
Yes, we have had. I found 3 experiments or trials they have done, and so with the northern white rhino, they did gene editing on that one, and so they had the embryo of a southern white rhino and edited its genes and everything with a teaser bull and put the embryo into this. We only have like 2 white rhinos in the world, and put the embryo into the female surrogate of a northern white rhino. Sadly, the enclosure it was being kept in flooded, and they both died because of the mother died of bacteria infection. But they were able to find out that she was 70 days pregnant with a male white rhino. So they were able to take the male white rhino's DNA and stuff, to then keep that. And so from that, it did fail, but they have the knowledge that it worked. And then later on, they did a cloning with an ibex, which is a goat, basically, that died out in the 1900s, and they did a cloning with that, and they had 200. They had 8 goats, and they had 200 eggs, and only one of those goats came to term with a baby, and had the baby, but sadly the baby had an abnormality in its lungs, which apparently is common in cloning. So that's one thing they need to fix with that. So they were able to have the baby and everything, but it only lived for a few minutes because of that abnormality.
Okay, and my second question is kind of piggybacking off of Grace's presentation, was saying genetic engineering is bad for humans. So my question to you is, do you see is there a distinguishing factor between the two, in your opinion?
Yeah, with humans, we are all made in God's image, and so we're our mother and father in God's image. And with an animal, these animals were alive and everything. God made them, and then we killed them. And so I think they're two different. Like, I think gene editing with a human, I think that's wrong, like Grace said, because you're messing with what God's creating. God's creating that. God already created these, and we destroyed them. So I think that it's right. I think it's not wrong.
Then the third thing, are there any species that just naturally died out and not necessarily from humans?
Yes, there were. I have the ones that died out because of humans, and then like dinosaurs, they died because we had 3 major extinctions, and those animals died out from those. But with humans, let me find it. We hunted the Steller sea cow to extinction, and we hunted the great ox. I don't know how to say that word. Ox, which is a type of penguin, to extinction. And then same with the Tasmanian tiger and the passenger pigeon, the Labrador duck, the Rocky Mountain locust, and etc. Those are extinct because of human activities. So destroying their lands and habitats, and then hunting them to extinction is what killed those off.
So I got a couple questions. Actually, I got a lot of questions because this is really fascinating stuff. I like the idea that you got that this is just another means of seeing animals flourish. Because I think you're right. I think you're trying your connection with the fact that God gave us. We use the word dominion, but God gave us stewardship over these animals, right? We're supposed to be taking care of them. And this seems like a really, really interesting way of taking care of them. We're we're literally bringing them back from extinction, as you just mentioned, some of which we're responsible for. So I agree with that a lot. I don't know. I got a bunch of technical questions in terms of like, it seems like please don't feel like you need to answer, but it seems like there's a really big need to get really clear on what makes a species. Because like especially when you didn't talk much about backbreeding, but it's like we're using some of these animals that haven't gone extinct, but they're close enough in species that we're able to, like surrogate mothers and stuff like that. So that's really fascinating, and also it's really interesting like how fragile all of this stuff is. Like to be able to do it a natural, well, I mean, what's natural at this point, right? But to like any type of these breeding programs, even with like endangered species, to have it done as naturally as possible, is just a really tenable thing. Like it, I think we had talked about the white rhino thing where we were like they were this close, and then some technical problem ended up messing the whole thing up. But you're right. At least we have that. We know we have the technology now. All right. So actual question. You say Colossal Laboratories? Is that the name of the place?
Colossal Laboratories and Biosciences. That's they're dedicated just to helping the earth, the environment, and de-extinction. So they're working on bringing back the woolly mammoth. They have the department for woolly mammoth, the dodo bird, and the Tasmanian tiger. And they say what I saw was that maybe in 5 years we could one day have the woolly mammoth. And they're pretty cool. They have little like mini labs in like colleges across the world, and then they have like 2 like main headquarters.
Is there another? Are there? Well, I mean, I didn't realize they were as spread out as they were. But are there other organizations that are working?
There's BioRescue that has done some stuff to help out de-extinction, or like helped out with some experiments and trials.
Are you sure we're not gonna have any dinosaurs?
Sadly, no. I mean, you got chickens. They're close to dinosaurs.
Chickens are mean though. Dinosaurs
Yeah, Jurassic Park has it wrong. Like what's that dinosaur? The Velociraptor. It's feathered. Really, it doesn't look like that.
That's really. I'm a big fan. Like just
Hollywood's fake, guys. Don't listen.
Just for whatever it's worth, I'm a big fan when I can hang out with people who watch a movie and you can sit back and you're like, that's not how it works. I hung out with a bunch of like government, like CIA and like FBI, like I hung out with Navy SEALs and stuff, and they watch these movies, so that's not how it works. And now I've got students that are like going into these sciences, and you're like, yeah, that's not how. That's cool to me. I've never been able to do that. I believe all of it. Like I watch these movies, I just believe all of it. And so I hang out with people where it's like, no, that's not how it works. So here's the question. Okay, so like back out to the actual project itself. Like, you said you've been interested in this for a long time. Honestly, like your project, I didn't even know this was a thing. Your project taught me that this was even a thing, right? How did you first hear about it?
Well, in 8th grade, my science teacher started doing this thing where every month we had to find a scientific research topic and make a paper and presentation about it. And so first there's this tar pit that they found a woolly mammoth in, or they found like they were able to find a bunch of animal skeletons and stuff preserved in it. And so then that led me down the rabbit hole of what can they do with these, and then de-extinction happened because they have found a baby woolly mammoth's corpse, completely preserved well and everything, and that's why they say in 5 years we could have, because they were able to find this preserved quite well and able to extract the DNA that they needed from it.
That's great. So every once in a while, homework actually benefits you.
Sometimes.
Okay. Classmates, y'all got anything for Lemon?
Yeah.
You kept saying over and over again how like the humans are taking on these animals, and what's the point of bringing them back if humans are gonna probably do it again, and we're wasting all this like scientific.
They would bring them back, but they would have to be in conservations to make sure they don't get poached again. So someone said that maybe like a de-extinction zoo, but then you don't want to keep them locked up and everything. That's sad. But they would just have conservations for them to be at.
Well, and then there's stages of that too, where it's like a straight up. Which, first of all, de-extinction zoo sounds sick. Like that would be awesome. But like, there's stages to like their conservation areas, and then their actual like wildlife reserves,
Yeah.
and their actual like maybe is there any type of progression towards that?
I haven't looked into like if they do come
Right.
to
Yeah, that's
fruition.
like down the road, right?
What would we do to help? But I do know they did say they would have conservations for them, but they wouldn't like make have a bunch of like woolly mammoths and nowhere to put them.
Right.
They would do it smartly, slowly.
As we're talking, it seems like that's the next question too. Is like once we have this technology, what's the pace?
Yeah.
Do we just go all in for it and just create all these herds of whatever? But that seems pretty dangerous too. One more question. Well, you know what? Let's give London a round of applause.